Feel the speed, the thrill, high octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checker flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You move to NFR, feel the speed. You move to NFR.
Chasing dreams under pressure, lost in the crowd. Corner two shots spun out wide and free. Championship slipped like sand into the sea. On the chicane, caught him slow on the twist. A second's hesitation, victory missed. Raining spot, he slid off the track. Fans gasping as the sky turned black. Pressure breakdown, Lando running wild. Back speeds by with the champion smile. Mistakes piling up, dreams in the rear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, Lando running wild. Max speeds by with the champion smile. Mistakes piling up, dreams in the rear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Not there. Mechanics fumbling in the pit lane's glare. Leaderboard slipping like oil on the floor. Lando's hopes falling, can't take anymore. Max takes the lead with a grin so bright. Lando's in shadows, can't find the light. Wheel to wheel, but he's losing grip. Champions rise as dreams start to slip. One last race, the engines scream. Hoping for a miracle, grasping at the dream. Final lap and there's no more to give. Lessons in the losses, that's how we live. Pressure breakdown and a running wild. Max speeds by with the champion smile. Mistakes piling up, dreams in the rear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, Lando running wild. Max speeds by with the champion smile. Mistakes piling up, dreams in the rear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Right. engines roar, the tires scream. Fast as lightning, it's the dream. Speed and drama every turn on NFR, the rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Fernando calls the play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. And now Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf Queen, the top supporter scene, in the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see.
Motor engines feel the heat. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Monday night, a chemist's feet. Oh yeah, oh yeah. SAFRL, the track's alive. Racing hearts, we just drive. Just drive. 8 p.m., the crowd ignites. Oh, drama unfolds under lights. Oh, speeding fast, never dive. SAFRL, we thrive. We thrive. We thrive. Just drive. Just drive. SAFRL, feel alive. Just drive. Just drive. Monday night, we survive. Rivals clash, engines roar. Roar. Every lap, we crave more. More. Flags wave, stakes sky high. One goal, catch the eye. Catch the eye. Catch the eye. Tires burning, adrenaline high. Oh, one mistake, wave goodbye. Oh, teams unite, souls revive. SAFRL, we strive. We strive. We strive. Just drive. Just drive. SAFRL, feel alive. Just drive. Just drive. Monday night, we survive. We strive. We strive. We strive. Just drive. Just drive. SAFRL, feel alive. Just drive. Just drive. Monday night, we survive.
They roared into 24 engines on fire. Max and his Red Bull racing with desire. Sergio followed, but he stumbled and trailed. In the season's first half, their victories held. Max was a lion on tracks burned gold, but halfway through the season, the car grew cold. Perez Tony struggling in his quest. Lance in his own right outdid him at best. Falling wings down from the skies, Red Bull sinking as the season flies. Max fights to keep his lid alive, while Sergio stumbles, just survive. That checkered flag once seemed a sure thing, but fortunes change fast in the racing ring. Mechanical troubles and the handling wrong. The champions yesterday now sing a broken song. Max is holding on by a thin red line, each turn a battle and every lap a time. Perez in shadows where hopes lay slain, every pit stop a prayer for racing's gain. Falling wings down from the skies, Red Bull sinking as the season flies. Max fights to keep his lid alive, while Sergio stumbles, just survives. Falling wings down from the skies, Red Bull sinking as the season flies. Max fights to keep his lid alive, while Sergio stumbles, just survive. Just survive.
Monday night, feel the vibe. SAFRL, alive, alive. Engines roar, crowds inside. 8 p.m. electric light. On the edge, they race so fast. Speeding by, won't let it pass. Highs and lows, a roller coaster. Drama here, we're getting closer. Feel the speed, feel the thrill. Crashes, spills, give us chills. SAFRL, you're the deal. Monday nights, it's all so real. Turn and twist, hearts in flight. Racing under the moonlight. Monday magic, can't deny. 8 p.m. we touch the sky. From the start they take their place, pushing hard to win this race. Adrenaline in every lane, fighting through the joy and pain. Feel the speed, feel the thrill. Crashes, spills, give us chills. SAFRL, you're the deal. Monday nights, it's all so real. Turn and start, they take their place, pushing hard to win this race. Adrenaline in every lane, fighting through the joy and pain. Feel the speed, feel the thrill. Crashes, spills, give us chills. SAFRL, you're the deal. Monday nights, it's all so real. Feel the speed, the thrill, yeah. High octane.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to NFR. Welcome back to Monday nights with SAFRL. Oh my goodness, I can hear myself. That's never good. There we go. Season 9, round 11, I believe it is. And of course, tonight a mystery race. And as promised, at 19:55, we are about to spin the wheel to decide where we're racing tonight. I had Austria on this wheel. I was told to remove it. Apparently, I had made a mistake. So let's have a spin of the wheel and see where we will be racing in 5 minutes from now. And well, there we go. Quick confirmation, there it is on your screen. The Hungaroring will be the venue for tonight's race. Drivers can now start to prepare themselves for the Hungaroring. Of course, a track that a lot of people used to compare to Kyalami back in the day. Not the easiest to overtake on. A twisty technical circuit. Of course, we do get going at 8 o'clock. I'm going to take a short break and I'm going to be back with you all just in time for qualifying. Let you all get ready for the Hungaroring. Of course, welcome to everybody who's joined the stream. Death Queen, Ubuntu, as well as Skull. Saw you in here earlier, Boinkies. Good to have all of the familiar names coming back night after night. Of course, we'll be back in approximately 3 minutes from now. Until then, enjoy a little bit more music.
On this chicane, caught him slow on the twist. A second's hesitation, victory missed. Green spot, he slid off the track. Fans gasping as the sky turned black. Pressure breakdown, Lando running wild. Back speeds by with the champion smile. Mistakes piling up, dreams in the rear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, Lando running wild. Max speeds by with the champion smile. Mistakes piling up, dreams in the rear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pit stop chaos, tires not there. Mechanics fumbling in the pit lanes glare. Leaderboard slipping like oil on the floor. Lando's hopes falling, can't take anymore. Max takes the lead with a grin so bright. Lando's in shadows, can't find the light. Wheel to wheel, but he's losing grip. Champions rise as dreams start to slip. One last race, the engines scream, hoping for a miracle, grasping at the dream. Final lap and there's no more to give. Lessons in the losses, that's how we live. Pressure breakdown and a running wild. Max speeds by with the champion smile. Mistakes piling up, dreams in the rear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, Lando running wild. Max speeds by with the champion smile. Mistakes piling up, dreams in the rear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure rush like a shooting star. The engines roar, the tires scream. Fast as lightning, it's the dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR. The rubber burns, feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, our only friend. Fernando calls the play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, our only friend. Not Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, our only friend. Deaf queen, the top supporter scene. In the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see.
Mount your engines, feel the heat. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Monday night, can his feet. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. SAFRL, the track's alive. Racing hearts, we just drive. Just drive. 8 p.m., the crowd ignites. Oh, drama unfolds under lights. Oh, speeding fast, never dive. SAFRL, we thrive. We thrive. We thrive. Just drive. Just drive. SAFRL, feel alive. Just drive. Just drive. Monday night, we survive. Rivals clash, engines roar. Roar. Every lap, we crave more. More. Flats, waves, stakes sky high. One goal, catch the eye. Catch the eye. Catch the eye. Tires burning, adrenaline high. Oh, one mistake, wave goodbye. Oh, teams unite, souls revive. SAFRL, we strive. We strive. We strive. Just drive. Just drive. SAFRL, feel alive. Just drive. Just drive. Monday night, we survive. We strive. We strive. We strive. Just drive. Just drive. SAFRL, feel alive. Just drive. Just drive. Monday night, we survive.
They roared into 24 engines on fire. Max and his Red Bull racing with desire. Sergio followed, but he stumbled and trailed. In the season's first half, their victories held. Max was a lion on tracks, burned gold. But halfway through the season, the car grew cold. Perez Tony struggling in his quest. Lance in his own right outdid him at best. falling wings down from the skies. Red Bull sinking as the season flies. Max fights to keep his lid alive while Sergio stumbles, just survive. That checkered flag once seemed a sure thing, but fortunes change fast in the racing ring. Mechanical troubles and the handling wrong. The champions yesterday now sing a broken song. Max is holding on by a thin red line. Each turn a battle and every lap a time. Perez in shadows where hopes lay slain. Every pit stop a prayer for racing's gain. Falling wings down from the skies. Red Bull sinking as the season flies. Max fights to keep his lid alive while Sergio stumbles, just survives. Down from the skies, Red Bull sinking as the season flies. Max fights to keep his lid alive while Sergio stumbles, just survive. Just survives.
Monday night, feel the vibe. SAFRL, alive, alive. Engines roar, crowds inside. 8 p.m. electric light. On the edge, they race so fast. Speeding by, won't let it pass. Highs and lows, a roller coaster. Drama here, we're getting closer. Feel the speed, feel the thrill. Crashes, spills, give us chills. SAFRL, you're the deal. Monday nights, it's all so real. Turn and twist, hearts in flight. Racing under the moonlight. Monday magic, can't deny. 8 p.m. we touch the sky. From the start they take their place. Pushing hard to win this race. Adrenaline in every lane. Fighting through the joy and pain. Feel the speed, feel the thrill. Crashes, spills, give us chills. SAFRL, you're the deal. Monday nights, it's all
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to NFR. Welcome back to SAFRL. Of course, I spoke to you a few minutes ago when we spun the wheel to find out where we would be racing tonight. Usually the guys just have 5 minutes to quickly prepare. drivers today would have had a little bit more time to mentally prepare, because we had a slight delay, had to recreate the lobby, so we're going to get going approximately 10 minutes late. Of course, normal format as usual, short qualifying session followed by a 50% race. Just the 18 minutes, in fact 17 minutes remaining for everyone to get out there, set their best lap time. That will set the field. There's no Q2, no Q3, no eliminations. This is it. This is the one qualifying session. It's just the 10 drivers in the field. The biggest field we've seen all season. Hopefully a few more drivers will be able to squeeze in before the race. We have seen that in the past. We're currently riding with Virus. It's one of 2 drivers currently out on circuit, and as I say that, a whole bunch of drivers come out on circuit, so there's 4 of them now. It's a technical race circuit, probably one of these circuits you would last want to see as a mystery track. Sort of circuit a lot of drivers need to take just a little bit of extra time to practice for. Sometimes it's difficult to find the right setup around here. Just sit and fine tune things, do a few laps in time trial, maybe do a practice session. Unfortunately, when it comes to these mystery events, there's none of that. There's simply no time for any of that. The setup on this side, I mentioned it yesterday, things are still a little bit new here on the settings, so let me know if you can see everything, if you can hear everything. And of course also let me know if the game too loud, is my voice too soft. Of course this takes a while to figure out, and I had all those settings pretty much locked in, and then disaster struck. We had to start everything from scratch. Still waiting for those first lap times. Welcome to Kaylin, welcome to Visor. Can't be missed in the comment section. Always good to have you here. Just brings that comment section to life. This is Virus in the McLaren. As mentioned, just the 10 drivers, so everybody here tonight has the opportunity to get some points. Even if you're not in the fight for the title, there's those little battles throughout the field. Difference between taking 3rd and taking 4th, taking 7th and taking 10th. Going to be fighting till the very end, make that championship look as respectable as you possibly can. And on a night like tonight, everybody in the field does have an opportunity to pick up those points. Virus and Andre, the only 2 cars that have been over the line, and as I say that, Top Gun goes over the line. Skull goes over the line, so it was in McLaren 1-2 ever so briefly, but that wasn't a representative lap from Andre. We know he's got more than that. That's a 120.6. I'd be surprised if he actually backed out of that lap. Skull in P3. This is an issue that I saw in the game last week while driving it. Expected to see it last night. Didn't see any of it last night. But we've already seen our first example of it in qualifying. Hopefully we don't see too much of it in the race. What I'm talking about, of course, is that black smoke. Just a lot of black smoke coming off the cars. And not where you'd expect it to be. It's not where the drivers are locking up. There where the drivers are locking up, the smoke is how it should be. It's white. Every now and then you just get this puff of dark smoke, even if you're on the middle of a straight, and it's something that's started after a recent patch. So fix one thing, you break another. That story's getting pretty old. Triple M, now the quickest driver in the field. Of course, these are the first runs. These are the initial runs, the benchmarks. Drivers will risk more and more as the session goes on. They're going to find more and more time. Confidence will go up. Remember, this was a mystery track, so none of these drivers will have been doing laps prior to the race. So everyone's going to be a little tentative, not going to quite know where the limit is. And as the session goes on, going to be able to lean on those tires a little more and find the limits of that race circuit. But on this first run, the last thing you want to do is invalidate. You want to get that benchmark down as soon as possible. Still 3 drivers without a benchmark. Spikes, Andres and Boinkies. It's an RB, a Red Bull and a Ferrari. But all 3 of those drivers have their teammates here tonight. A lot of drivers will be missing a teammate, and some teams aren't represented at all. Spikes goes over the line with a 120.9. That's just his first run. Some of these times will not be representative. And that's why I say some of these times will not be representative. If you look up at your screens, you're going to see that almost half of the field, 4 drivers in fact, have chosen to set their lap times on the intermediate tyre. You might think they're crazy, but there is a reason for that. Of course, a rule that was introduced was the drivers that decide to set their qualifying time on the intermediate tyre, the fastest of those intermediate runners will pick up 5 bonus points. Of course, if you do a lap on the dry tyre, that intermediate lap time gets cancelled out immediately. So if you want to pick up the 5 extra bonus points, you're going to be sacrificing position at the start of the race. Of course, if you have a fantastic start, cancel out what you lose at the start and you pick up the extra 5 points. It's a nice roll of the dice, which that doesn't always work out. Caution in sector 2. If we were in the race, we'd have to hold our breath for a safety car, but we're in qualifying. Safety cars don't happen in qualifying. The car simply disappears if it is indeed a crash. I think it was a crash, Mr. M. We got that yellow flag and then suddenly Mr. M grayed out from our screen. So I think Mr. M may have crashed. Of course, he was on the intermediate tyres on a track that does not require intermediate tyres. So they would have probably been running around very hot. Very easy to make a mistake. It's Hungary, known as Monaco without the walls. Very twisty circuit, very technical circuit. Some of the street circuits you can just throw off all the downforce and enjoy the straights. This is the sort of circuit that the setup is just so much more technical. To find something that works for you, you're able to throw the car into these corners as efficiently as possible. Triple M, still the quickest man. It's a 15.3. Next best is a 15.7, so 4/10 of a second covering the front row. Those are the only 2 drivers in the 15s. But for how much longer? He's just gone through sector 1, and he's gone through sector 1 quicker than anybody else has gone tonight. Purple in sector 1. Keep your eyes on the Mercedes, currently in P3 with a 16.3, looking to join that 1 minute 15 club. So he was extremely quick in sector 1, he's extremely quick in sector 2, he was purple in sector 1, he's gone purple again. If he's able to keep everything together in this third part of the lap, should go into provisional pole. And he will throw the challenge to those on the front row. Let's see, does he improve? Yes, he does. Want them to get quickest sectors, it's another thing to sew the entire lap together. And not only did he join the 15s club, well, he jumped the 15s club. That's a 14.8 for Wees. Very impressive lap time for the Mercedes driver. Triple M now demoted into P2. He's about to go over the line himself. See the battery draining, that means this is a quick attempt. Did improve. Almost got himself into the 14s, a 15.0, so a big improvement on lap time. Unfortunately, you don't see it on the timing sheet, because while he improved on his lap time, he didn't improve on his position. Now Virus, you would have thought he was pretty close not so long ago, all of a sudden finds himself almost 9/10 of a second away from pole position. He's not going to be messing about too much longer. He's actually done a few laps on these softs. Going to go over the line one more time. 15.7 is his best lap time. I suspect he's going to come into the pits at the end of this lap, put on some fresh rubber and show us what he's really got. Mr. Rem has retired from the session. He is the fastest of the intermediate runners. Of course, if the checkered flag were to fall right now, he would pick up the 5 bonus points for the championship. That was obviously a rule that was introduced for the Monday Night League. Wees, the quickest man, he's in the pits. Triple M P2, we saw him have a big improvement. It wasn't enough to change his position. He cemented that P2, got him a lot closer. Just let Wees know, I'm going to dominate this. Going to be over your shoulder for the remainder of the session. Don't rest easy. Iris in P3. Looks like he's quite a ways off, but look at that tyre. It's on a set of softs. He's got a lot of laps on that set of softs. So it almost feels like he's doing a bit of practice. He's doing a bit of a run, getting a feel for the car. Of course, it was a mystery circuit. Guys wouldn't have had a lot of time out on track. Some of the drivers will approach this qualifying session slightly differently. Virus out there on 5-lap old tyres. But he'll be able to see the clock in the top left-hand side of the screen just as we can. He'll know 4.5 minutes remaining. He's got enough time to come into the pits, put on a fresh set of boots, get back out there. And with a much lighter car, you must imagine, to be able to do all those laps on one set of tyres. He went out there with quite a heavy fuel tank. So once he strips that fuel down for a 1-lap run and puts on a new set of tyres, we're going to have another driver in the 14s. Triple M looking to get into the 14s as well, but he's also done a few laps on those softs. So the drivers in P2 and P3 still have a lot more to come, because they're doing those lap times on used tyres. That final run is going to be a brand new set of tyres, and I assure you, each and every single milliliter of fuel that they can take out of that car, they will. It'll be running on absolute fumes, as light as an F1 car can possibly be. Of course, on the 1993 calendar, the 3 most difficult rated circuits to overtake on were, well, I'm sure you could guess number 1. Number 1 was Monaco, number 2 was Hungary, and number 3 was our very own Kyalami. There were a lot of similarities between Kyalami and Hungary made, especially by the commentators. Was Kyalami a little different now? Modifications have been made. Straight has been lengthened by almost 400 meters. Very different circuit these days. Lots more overtaking opportunities. and it is getting a grade 1 upgrade in early 2025. This is Wheeze, 14.8. It's the quickest driver we've seen so far, the only driver we've seen so far dip into the 14s. Triple, he's in the pits, he's not far from the 14s, he's on a 15.0. Virus, 15.7 in P3. Seems like he's off the pace, but he did those laps with old tyres and a very heavy fuel tank. So expect a lot more from the man in P3. Top Gun P4, then Boinky's P5, Skull P6, Spike's P7, but Andres P8. Mr. M is no longer the quickest intermediate runner, so he will not pick up those 5 points. And then Andre in P10. Is he on another set of inters? He is on another set of inters. He's committed to those 5 points. I think if he had put on a set of softs, he would have jumped those 3 drivers ahead of him. He's chosen to commit, go for the 5 points. The time he's looking for is something better than a 19.2. That's currently the time held by Spikes. He will pick up the 5 bonus points if things were to end right now. But still 1 minute remaining in the session. Wheeze, quickest man in the field, he's out on track. Triple on an outlap, that's the man in P2. Virus, man in P3, he's just started his final run. Going to have a very busy end to the session, and unfortunately I've just got the one camera angle, just the one monitor. I'm not going to be able to catch everyone coming over the line. Wheeze goes quicker in sector 1 by 4 thousandths of a second. It's the fastest sector 1 we've seen all evening. So he's looking to improve on that very impressive time, 14.8. What more does he have in his pocket? How much deeper are those pockets? Triple M, 15.0. He'll be hoping that if Wheeze does find any time, it'll just be a couple of thousandths. Don't move those goalposts too far. Just 5 seconds remaining in the session. The checkered flag will fall any moment. Session over for Top Gun. Session over for Spikes. Skull retires from the session. Wheeze does go quicker. He improves by a further 3/10 of 14.5. I said if he does improve, Triple would prefer it if it was a very small improvement. That's a rather large improvement. Virus does improve, gets into the 14s, 14.9. It's good enough to go ahead of Triple, not good enough to get ahead of Wheeze. But for now, he is on the front row. We follow Triple M, who's looking to get himself back onto that front row. Might get a little bit of assistance from the McLaren ahead of him in the way of slipstream. We're not going to see where he finished because the camera cut away. Stayed in P3. So Virus gets that P2, but just by a tenth of a second. Get through these results. Wheeze takes P1. Then Virus a further almost 4/10 of a second back. Then you got Triple M in P3. Boinky's actually jumped up into P4 there at the end. Top Gun P5, Skull P6, then those intermediate runners, Andres, Spikes, Mr. M, and Andre. Of course, unless anybody joins the race at the last moment, means we're going to get going with a field of 10 drivers. That means finishing the race, regardless of how far behind you are, or how many penalties you have. All you need to do is finish the race and you will get points towards your SAFRL championship. So opportunity for points for everyone on the grid. Something that's not always mentioned, but it's always a risk in small fields like this one. You've just got 10 drivers. If you're one of the drivers at the top, picked up multiple penalties, you get one of those late safety cars. There's only 10 drivers in the field. If you've got multiple safety cars, you could find yourself from going from a podium to last place. course, now we just wait for all the drivers as they do their final preparations going into the race. Final preparations would include things like what tyre are they starting on, what sort of fuel load are they going to go for. Of course, some drivers will choose to underfuel. Usually if you go with that standard mix, you can land up at the end with a little bit more fuel than you'd like. Some like to underfuel. Sometimes you don't get the stoppages in the race you expect, and you curse that decision. We get the dual green lights, which means you're not looking at the race start, you're looking at the start of the formation lap. This is the last opportunity for the drivers to get one more look at the circuit before they have to do it at racing speed. It's the most difficult part of the race are these first couple of laps until things settle down. Things get really frantic. And in a small field like this, you'd think there's less accidents, there's less cars in the field. I've seen in cases with small fields like this that things can get even more frantic. You can be all the way down in last place and be able to see the leader into turn one. And that sort of thing, it just gives you a little bit of extra confidence. You want to take that extra position, you want to brake a little bit later. It's lap 1, lap 2, your brakes aren't quite ready, incidents happen, and what already starts as a very small field can sometimes end with a chokingly small field. So hopefully everybody that starts the race finishes the race. Hopefully everybody stays out of the penalties column and keeps the mathematics simple. Of course, last night we had a race with 2 full safety cars and 1 virtual safety car sandwiched in between them. Something the drivers will not be hoping for tonight. They'll be hoping for a straightforward start to finish race. Not the very best camera angle if you're hoping for a look at the front row. Usually it does switch. By the time we get to turn 1, we will get a view of the red lights, and there they are. 3, 4, 5, pause, and off we go. We wait for the better camera angle. Wheeze, Virus, Triple, Boinkies, that is the top 4. It hasn't changed. They're going into turn 1. Will the order change? The Red Bull challenges the McLaren around the outside, but nothing crazy. Decides to tuck in behind the McLaren for now. Boinkies in P4, holding firm in that position. Everybody holding station for now. Andres has made a position on Skull. Spike's making up a position. Mr. Rem, Andre, all making up positions. I think Top Gun lost 3. He's actually picked up a position on Andre, so chaos on the first lap if you're in the midfield. But at the front, no real chaos to speak of. Rees leads the way, 0.8 of a second. He's already approaching, breaking that crucial DRS toe. Virus in P2 does not have that luxury. He has a Red Bull behind him, a very aggressive Red Bull. And if you have PTSD about McLaren and Red Bull fighting, well, this isn't going to be a good one. Wheeze leads from Virus, from Triple. Boinkies in P4. Quickest man in the field is Wheeze at the end of lap 1. Of course he leads. Andres P5, Skull P6. We have Spikes in the first of the 2 RBs. The second Ferrari. Mr. Rem in P8. Top Gun P9. Ooh, and there's Andre. I was going to say he's making up the rear of the field. Not only that, he's in the pits changing a front wing. So that is damage very, very early on in the race. You never want damage in the race, but you definitely don't want it early on in the race. It messes up everything. Of course, You would have started with that tyre, you would have had a plan for that tyre would have gone 10 laps, 15 laps, whatever the case may be. Now you've had to go and get rid of that tyre with just 2 laps. Throws your whole race out of balance. And the strategy you once had in mind will no longer work. Of course, now you can see the situation. Andre is 30 seconds behind the rest of the field. It's the sort of situation where you just have to hope for that safety car. Wait for the safety car, hope for the safety car that will bring you back towards that field. Virus over the line, fastest lap of the race. It's not Virus, Wheeze over the line, fastest lap of the race. He's actually increased his lead slightly. The Red Bull gets past the McLaren, so Triple M into P2. Virus down into P3. Andres also has made up a position on Boinkies. The Ferrari now down into P5. Skull P6. Last night we saw Skull in the Williams. Tonight we see him in another fleet car. He's in the Alpine. Last night Andre in the Williams. Tonight he's in the McLaren. All gets a little confusing. Out front, Wheeze. Look at that gap. Look at that gap. It's ridiculous. The last time we looked at it, it wasn't even 2 seconds. It was something like 1.5. I said he had just broken the DRS barrier. Well, now the DRS barrier will be the last thing on his mind. Look at that. 5.2 seconds. 5.3 seconds is the gap. He's taking a tenth out of them on it almost every single corner. He just has some superior confidence around this circuit. Maybe he's had a race here recently. He really seems to be enjoying himself out front. 5.1 seconds is the gap back to Virus. I've seen Triple M come into the pits. Wonder if he had any damage to the front wing. It's a very, very early pit stop. I don't think that would have been for tyres. Surely he got damage. Maybe him and Virus rubbing up on some tyres. He got some damage, Virus did not. Maybe that will explain the acceleration in that gap. Like I said, I looked at it, it was 1.5. I looked up at the screen again and we were almost at 5 seconds. It's actually just gone over the 5-second mark now, so Wheeze, very comfortable lead. He's having that sort of race that you just hope no safety cars come out. You've got everything under control. You know when you're going to pit. You know what the plan is. You've got the pace. Safety car just comes and mixes everything up, brings the opponents back onto your gearbox. So he would love for things to stay straightforward. Lap 5 of 35. Still have all 10 drivers we started the race with. This is Andre. Of course, he had 30 seconds in front of him before he'd see another car. Now just the 10 seconds because Triple made a mistake of his own. Has since taken some of that time. Has Andre, the gap come down from 30 seconds to 28 seconds to the next man. Wheeze 5.6 seconds, another half a second. That gap just continuing to grow. But these two continue to battle, the McLaren versus the Red Bull. And the more they battle, they just have a look in their mirrors. They're going to notice they're going to create a little bit of a situation for themselves. Not only were they battling each other, putting a lot of pressure on each other, now all of a sudden all that extra battling has allowed a few cars at the rear of the field to get right back into this. Boinkies now right on the back of Andres. Andres right on the back of Virus. So close. The Red Bull to the inside. Andres takes P2. Will he be able to hold on to it? Yes, he does. Always say, will he be able to hold on to it? Because we've seen drivers break really late. lots of times they can't get it stopped in time. That time, did it just perfectly. So it's Wheeze from Andres, the gap 5.4 seconds. Everyone in the top 5, same strategy, medium set of tyres. Of course, Triple M was part of that lead group. He seems to have had an issue because he came in very early on for a pit stop. We have picked up the first penalty of the day. If things remain this close, penalties can seriously hurt you. In this example, Andres would fall all the way down to P7, costing 5 positions. That's what happens if you have a safety car late on, and guys with penalties, you just get those sort of gaps, a couple of tenths between each driver. You're sitting with 6 or 9 penalties. You're done for. We've got a caution in sector 2. Quickly look towards the track map to see if everyone is moving. We do have a stationary blue car, but there it goes. I think it was Top Gun. Top Gun is on the move. We can all breathe a sigh of relief. No safety car on lap 7, at least for now. Every time you see that caution, it could really mean anything. Sometimes it goes on to simply disappear from your screen moments later. Sometimes it leads to a virtual, sometimes it leads to a full. And if you were watching last night, sometimes it just leads to confusion. The game tells you virtual safety car, while you're clearly driving behind a full safety car. That happened twice last night. Top Gun has retired from the session. We've got a caution in sector 3. Don't know if that was a retirement in the pit lane. If it was a retirement in the pit lane, won't have much effect on the race. Still just a caution. Nothing more being called for now. And there we go. I just saw Top Gun's car disappear in the pit lane, so that was a retirement in the pits. So we didn't get a safety car. Top Gun just being a little courteous there of the other drivers. Of course, if you do retire on circuit, it could trigger a safety car. That safety car could trigger a very different result in the race. So you effectively retiring on track because you don't want to drive back to the pits could have a serious effect on the championship. It's not something you want on your shoulders. See, when possible, if you feel you need to retire, if you can get back to the pits, it's always the best option for everybody else on the race circuit. Wheeze leads 6.2 seconds, and you'll be happy to know that the nearest car to him also has a 3-second penalty next to his name. So add 3 seconds to that 6-second gap and you'll get a 9-second advantage at the moment for Wheeze over Andres. Virus in P3, then Boinkies. Boinkies has been real competitive, hasn't he? Of course, 2 races last night. Raced for SKR on this channel. Then quickly moved on to DRS. League that's unfortunately not on this channel, but went on to DRS and raced in Monaco. And tonight he's back in Hungary. Somebody enjoying the competitive nature of F124. And it shows. All that extra time on the race circuit starts to show in the results. It's not in P3 by luck. It's in P3 by pace. Do have a few viewers on the stream, so welcome to everyone who's watching. If you have said something in the comment section, I think I've said hello to you. If you haven't said anything in the comment section, I don't know you're here. So say something in the comment section so I can know you're here. Of course, if it's your first visit, we do this 3 times a week. And if you enjoy what you're seeing, you should subscribe to the channel. This is just SAFRL. Of course, on a Sunday night we also run SKR, and of course tomorrow night we run the League v League Championship, consisting of the two leagues I just mentioned, as well as JPR and LSA. LSA have won that championship with a few rounds to go. Obviously still pride at stake. Who finishes P2, who finishes P3. You don't want to be that league that finishes in last place. Still lots of reason to show up. He's out front, 6.5 seconds. Andres P2. Boinky's P3. 1.9 seconds adrift from Andres. Doesn't have the pace to match him right now. Spikes in P4. This is an interesting scenario because he's right on the back of Boinky's. Look at the tyres. It's the first time we're really seeing a difference in tyres in the top 5. Spikes now has a set of hard tyres that he started the race on. All of the drivers now on 10 lap old tyres, or they will be after this corner. So we're now getting into that territory of when do the mediums begin to drop off. Of course, they're not going to drop off a cliff after just 10 laps, but I think some of the drivers may start to feel very beginning effects of those mediums having passed their peak. And if that is the case, then this will be the man on the move. He's got the hard tyre. He's going to have a little bit extra grip when all of these medium runners start to struggle for grip. His tyres are still going to be feeling fantastic. That's when he's going to make up all the ground that he can make. Medium runners will go in before him. He'll probably briefly take the lead of the race, and then he will have the superior compound in that final stint. Of course, always a risk starting on that hard tyre. I've seen so many examples, either in races that I've raced in or races that we've broadcast on this channel, of very early safety cars. If you start on that hard tyre expecting to go deep into the race, safety car comes out on lap 4, 5, 6, soft runners go in, people start doing things in the pits, and you're really just trapped out on track. You need to stay out, hold on to track position. The tyres have done nowhere near the job they're supposed to do. It can be a little risky starting on that hard tyre, but if that early safety car doesn't come out, and you time things well, keep it clean, keep your nose clean, that's the most important part. Don't go to the pits unnecessarily for damage, and you'll be able to come up with a result like this. Of course, all that being said, if you're as slow as me, you could have the perfect strategy and still finish at the rear of the field. Strategy is not going to help you much if you don't have the main ingredient. The main ingredient is pace. And the two we're watching right now, they both have exactly that. It's an RB versus a Red Bull, some flashbacks from Leon Lawson versus Sergio Perez. And at the moment, Spikes, he gets out ahead. That's because Andres has decided to give up on that battle. He's coming into the pits, probably going to get rid of these medium tyres. Weeze has chosen to stay out on the medium tyres, so he's going to stretch them a little longer. We'll see if Andres can get any sort of undercut. Maybe not necessarily in position, but he might be able to close that lead up to Weeze. At the moment, man in P2 is the man we were talking about earlier, the only driver there at the moment. At the time, he was the only driver in the top 5 with a set of hard tyres. He's now up into P2. When Weeze, just up the road, does come into the pits, he's going to lead the race. That will be his moment. He just needs to throw everything at those hard tyres, while everybody else is going to be starting to struggle for grip. That's when he needs to utilize the advantage of being one of the cars that should still have grip at this stage. Boinkies 12 lap old mediums, Wees 12 lap old mediums. All the other medium runners have come in, have gotten rid of those tires. The men in P1 and P3 have chosen to stay out there. Wees stays out again. He goes on to his 13th lap on those set of tires. Boinkies does the same, follows the example of the leader. Wees rather spikes in P2 while he's in the middle. He's also on 13 laps but on the hard tire. So Boinkies stretching those mediums, Wees stretching those mediums. It's lap 14 of 35. There's no way you're going to be able to finish on soft, so maybe just stretching these mediums to make sure at the end of the race your hard tires could be 2, 3, maybe even 4 laps fresher than some of your competitors, and it could make all the difference. Of course, the hard tire can go for an awfully long time around this circuit. This driver shouldn't have too much of an issue getting to the end of the race on the hard tire. The issue sometimes comes in if you pit a little early on those medium tires, like right in the beginning of your pit window, and then you don't treat those hard tires too well. You might find yourself in a position where the last couple of laps feel like you're driving on ice. Absolutely no grip, holding onto your tires as much as you possibly can. I haven't seen too many more examples of that black smoke, so hopefully we don't see it in the race. Further on in the race, I saw quite a bit of it in qualifying. I saw a lot of it in the race on Friday night. Fortunately, not seeing too much of it now. In fact, it was so bad on Friday night at one stage I looked in my rearview camera to see where the driver behind me was. I couldn't see him. It was just a puff of dark smoke down the middle of a straight. Look at the two Ferraris. They're 3 and 4. Mr. Rem coming under pressure from a man that will be a little frustrated. He was very quick in qualifying. First couple of laps in the race looked like he could match the leader, was very, very quick. Obviously had some sort of incident, went to the rear of the field. Now he's going to be a little bit out of sync with everybody else on his tyres with his pit stops. That's why I say he'll be driving a little frustrated, coming through the field. Just want to get on with it, get to the next car, and you say, right, get out of the way, I need to go. Next thing you find yourself trapped behind a Ferrari for 2 or 3 laps. It just makes the situation worse. Of course, Hungary, not a lot of straights to speak of, and the ones that are there aren't particularly long. So DRS on this circuit not as effective as you would see at other circuits. Of course, circuits like Baku, circuits like Vegas and Miami, even Abu Dhabi, these circuits with long back straights and DRS zones and overpowered DRS zones. You don't get as much of that here in Hungary. You do get the 2 DRS zones, but like I say, the straights aren't too long, so you really need to be very close behind at the beginning of that DRS zone. If you're 5, 6, 7 tenths behind, you're not going to get there before turn 1. Just not going to happen. Similar to Monaco in that way. Monaco just has the 1 DRS zone, and it's probably the most useless DRS zone on the calendar. Spikes leads the way. Of course, he started on the hard tyre, so he went a little deeper into the race than all of his opponents around him. Wees has eventually come into the pits, comes out of the pits in P2. He's now got a fresh set of hards, and he just went very quick in sector 1. So expect sometimes to come in from those runners. Now they're going to have brand new rubber. Of course, the car's a lot lighter now than it was at the start of the race. So this is going to be a lot better than in the beginning of the race. Of course, in the beginning of the race, they would have had a little bit of grip. They would have had a very heavy car. Now, to get some new grip, much lighter car, things feel a lot better. And you're officially in the closing stages. We have passed halfway distance. A very clean race up until this point. We've just had the one penalty that went the way of Andres. We had the one DNF. Fortunately, didn't trigger any safety cars or any virtual safety cars of any kind. That car retired in pit lane. So it didn't have any effect on the race besides a caution for a couple of laps, for a couple of corners rather. Resets the fastest lap of the race. He said he was quick in sector 1. Put the rest of that lap together. 5.8 seconds is the gap to Spikes. Spikes will be able to see that gap coming down as quickly as it's coming down, and he'll already be thinking, right, when do I pit? How much longer do I take these tires? I've done 17 laps on the hard tire. What's the plan? Do I pit at the end of this lap? Am I going to take them 18, 19, 20? What is the plan? He will know, but he'll be watching that timing sheet. 4.6 seconds. He's lost almost 1.5 seconds since Weeze has come out of the pits. Don't know how much more time he's going to spend out there. See now, as he goes into the penultimate corner, is he going to dive into the pits? No, he doesn't. Goes wide and back into the final corner, so he's staying out there at least 18 laps on those hards. Squeeze, catching up, 3.5 seconds. It's almost like every time I give you an update on the gap, it's a further second down. Quickest lap of the race, 1:16.6. If I read that correctly, I'm not sure if I did. Spikes, then Weeze, 3.1 seconds, triple. Further 10 seconds down the road, leads his teammate. Those two Red Bulls actually very close together on track, just 4/10 of a second separate them. Then you've got the first of the two Ferraris. It's not Boinkies, it's actually Mr. M. Boinkies has been the lead Ferrari for the longest time. Now Mr. M, the Ferrari up front in P5. Skull, I was going to say following the Ferrari, but he's not quite following the Ferrari. The Ferrari's quite a way up the road. Skull in P6. Then Virus P7. There is the second Ferrari. He's made a recent pit stop. He got himself onto the hard compound just like Weeze did. Followed the same strategy as Weeze. Took those mediums a little later than everybody else. Then jumped onto the hard. Weeze was able to come out in P2. Fortunately for Boinkies, he's only been able to come out in P8. Those drivers ahead of him will all have much older tyres than him, so the track should come to him towards the end of the race. Thank you there to Death Queen, just reminding everybody to like and subscribe. Of course, we're getting closer and closer to 500 subscribers. I think we're something like 20 away. So if it's your first visit to the channel, you enjoy what you're seeing, of course do subscribe. Do this 3 times a week. This is just one of the leagues on this channel. We also do SKR on a Sunday night. And of course, if you're interested in joining any of these leagues, let us know in the comment section and we can forward you the necessary details. And then of course tomorrow night, F124 will return to this channel yet again for the League v League Championship. That'll be for the SAFRL hosted circuit. So that will mean the other 3 leagues competing will not know where they are racing. Just like these guys didn't know where they were racing. 3 of the leagues will not know where they're racing. SAFRL will know where they're racing because they picked out the circuit. So it should be advantage SAFRL tomorrow night. It doesn't always work out that way. Of course, LSA has already won that championship and they've been quite dominant. I'm sure they will want that to continue. Doubt they're suddenly going to throw in their C squad. Weeze leads, Spikes P2, 1.8 seconds, but the gap now, obviously Spikes was leading, Weeze now in the front, Spikes in P2, looks good, but he hasn't done a pit stop. Remember, a pit stop around this circuit is going to cost you 22 seconds, round about there, so that means he's going to come out, well, my maths isn't very good, but he's going to come out around P7, P8. Start to wonder, should I have dragged the tyres this long? Should I have put it 2 laps ago? Has that extra time on these tyres cost me? Of course, when you're stretching the tyre, that tyre's not in very good condition those last few laps, and sometimes you're just stretching to have a fresher tyre at the end, but you don't realise the amount of time you're losing by stretching that tyre. Top 3, Weeze, Andries, Mr. Rem. Mr. Rem 13 laps on the hard tyre, so slightly out of sync with the drivers around him. The second Ferrari also on the hard tyre, but look at that, very different strategy, just 6 laps. So almost half, actually more than half, the tyre life between the 2 Ferraris, so different strategies. That suggests Mr. Rem might have had to come in for an early pit stop for damage or something like that. Weeze out front, Andries P2, Mr. Rem P3. Further back we've got Virus, first of the 2 McLarens. Remember, a very, very small field tonight, so even if you're at the rear of the field, just get to the end of the race. You get to the end of the race, you're going to get to put some points in your pocket, put some points towards the championship. You might not win this championship, but those extra points might be the difference between P2 and 3, or 3 and 4, or whatever it may be, each and every single position in the championship. Just means that little bit more, at least to the driver's pride. At the end of the championship, you'd much rather see yourself in P5 than in P10. You've got to fight to the end, pick up every single point that is available. Sometimes you might just rage quit, you might just leave a race, you might just skip a race because you're not in the mood for that track that night. At the end of the championship, you look at your position and you think all I needed was a point or 2. You're going to curse that rage quit. You're going to curse that non-show. Might not be the quickest, but consistency can win championships. It's been proven in the past. If you want to win a title, being fast definitely helps. I think step 1, be at every race, finish every race in the points. Triple M just becomes the fastest man out on track. That's the driver currently in P8. Brand new set of medium tyres on that car, so he's feeling fresh and ready to go. So speaking of consistency, winning world championships, most of you will be familiar with the driver by the name of Nico Rosberg, of course one-time Formula 1 world champion of 2016. Of course his father was a world champion as well, Keke Rosberg. And the year Keke Rosberg won his one and only world title, he only won 1 race. Same thing happened in MotoGP in 2020. Your eventual champion, Joan Mir, only won the one race the entire season. So it is possible to get really good results in the championship without being the fastest man on track. Just need to make sure you're at every race and you try and be at every checkered flag. Weiss goes quickest in sector 1. He's now seen that fastest lap from Triple M and he's responded, because he doesn't just want the 25 points, he wants 26 points. He wants the full allotment of points. So he's going to respond and he's going to try and take that purple lap right back. See what he's able to do in sector 2. He's a little bit slower than his best. I don't know if he's going to get a purple this time round. Of course, Triple M on much fresher tyres. This is the McLaren of Virus, and look at that, he's got like a whole swarm of cars behind him. Mr. M P4, Skull P5, Spikes P6. Lots of cars close together. We wouldn't usually call this the midfield, but in a field this large, this is the midfield. P5, 6, 7. And they're as close as can be. No DRS to speak of at the front. Weiss leads the way by 18.5 seconds. Real dominant performance. This is the sort of race where you sort of need a safety car. If one man is dominating like this, you need something to just reel him in. Make things exciting yet again, but he's been able to show his pace lap after lap without any sort of stoppages in the race. And what happens then? So that pace really shows 18.8 seconds. And still more laps to go. He might be able to clear that half a minute mark if he continues to accelerate away at the current rate. And remember, the man in P2 does have a 3-second penalty, so if the checkered flag were to fall right now, the man in P3 would dethrone him. So Andres hasn't done enough to take P2. Can't just accept that P2, say right, I'm not going to catch Weiss, I'm just going to sit back, take it easy, finish in P2. He can't take it easy. He's got a 3-second penalty next to his name. Virus, 2.5 seconds down the road. As things stand, he'd lose his P2, so he needs to get on with it. Not much he can do about the Mercedes up the road, 19.2 seconds. That lead Ferrari again. Scuderia Ferrari HP. You'll never get used to that. And Scuderia, well, it sounds like a fancy word. It's not. It just means team. Team Ferrari. Sounds better in Italian, doesn't it? Scuderia Ferrari. Weiss leads the way. Nothing's changed there. The only way that's going to change is with a very late safety car, or if Weiss were to make a very, very silly incident. No silly incident in sight. 19.8 seconds. Don't know if he's going to cross that 30-second mark. I think I may have just taken a bit too much of a reach on that. Of course, we're starting lap 28 of 35. Not long to go. It's been a clean race up until this point. Just a couple of penalties in the field. The one retirement that was in the pit lane, so we haven't had any stoppages to speak of. 28 of 35. Of course, we did have the delay right at the beginning of the night. A 10-minute delay before we could get qualifying going. The race would probably be ending at this point. So if the drivers get really, really tired at the end of the race tonight, they're having to dig a little bit deeper. They're going a little bit longer into the night. Of course, we haven't had any safety cars, so it sort of balances it out. Once you've commentated on a 100% race at Spa that had 5 safety cars, none of these feel that long. See Weeze, the car just getting a slide there that shows you he's out front. He's got an incredible gap, but he's still pushing. Still pushing. The car's still going sideways. Still giving it everything. Definitely hasn't sat back. You might still see a situation where he's not going to win the race by the 30 seconds I predicted. We might see him get up to 22, 23 second gap, come in, put on a set of softs and steal the fastest lap. Of course, that would take a lot of confidence. That's a sort of Max Verstappen in 2023 confidence that would take. Because of course, if you come out on the new set of tires, make a mistake while they're cold, you can end up looking really silly. Midfield's still a crazy place to be. Skull leading that little midfield battle. He's in P4 for the Alpine team. Then it's Mr. Rem, then Spikes. 3 cars very close together. Then Triple M. It's 4.5 seconds down the road from that battle. Then Boinkies. Have to ask him after the race what went wrong. Looked very quick at the start of the race. Now he finds himself as the second Ferrari, no longer the lead Ferrari. Something didn't go right. Like he had a lot of pace in the beginning. Like he had it sorted out in the beginning. Now I have penalties for the drivers in P2, 3 and 4. Of course, when you get a penalty, and the driver behind you gets a penalty, it's a bit of a relief. When that driver ahead of you has a penalty and you're like, oh, this is great, and then you pick up one yourself. It just doesn't help the scenario. In some cases, it can be positive, in other cases, it can be very frustrating. Weeze out front, 22 seconds. My prediction was that he might come into the pits before the end of the race to try and steal that fastest lap. Will that prediction come true? Is he listening in the background? I don't know. This isn't a challenge, Weeze. Do not feel any peer pressure. Do not come into the pits and put on a set of soft tyres if you think it's going to cost you the race. Or if you're feeling a little cheeky, feeling a little maxi, why not? As Mr. M got awfully close to the back of the Alpine, but just again, as I mentioned earlier on, the effectiveness of DRS on this circuit, not the best. We'll get a second bite at DRS, second attempt. Got to be really close. Top Gun now leaves the session. Means he's been with us up until this point. Been sitting in spectator mode, watching the race with us. Like that 23 seconds. Will Weeze come into the pits? Yes, he does. I wonder if he is listening in the background. Either I inspired that move or I predicted that move. I'll never really know. Either way, it's exactly what he's done. He's come into the pits. Let's just get confirmation by going to the tyre screen. He hasn't gone for the soft tyre. I guess he didn't have a new set of soft tyres. He's gone for the medium. It's going to be more than enough. Brand new set of mediums. Very light car at this stage in the race. No reason why he shouldn't set the fastest lap for the race. Lucky for him as well. Fantastic pit stop. Only lost approximately 19 seconds in that stop. It's Gets back out in front and the gap's already 5 seconds. He's going to have a very fast tyre and a very fast car. Not too much Andres can do to reel that gap in. Mr. Rem has put himself up into P4. Two drivers ahead of him do have penalties, so he'll want to close that 3.2 second gap, just close it to within 3 seconds. I think we're looking at a podium. At the rear of the field, not the night he would have wanted. Of course, on the podium last night in SKR. Tonight he's just had to spend a majority of the race at the rear of the field. Of course, had that early incident, had to come in, change his wing. It was lap 2 or 3, very early on in the race. Probably hoped for a safety car to bring him back into the race. This is one of those rare occasions. No virtual safety cars, no safety cars, no stoppages of any kind. And if he was going to catch up to the field, he was going to have to do it out the right pace. We do have a caution, but it's too late in the race. Was mentioning that Skull has front wing damage. That may explain why he's falling down the field. Let's just try and get a view of that car, see how bad that wing damage is. Usually he's still got all of the wing, just one of the end plates missing on the right hand side. Should be able to get to the end of the race, just a few laps to go. I don't think he's going to come into the pits and give up all of those positions. Rather just try and crawl around the circuit. There is the fastest lap. So it's paid off for Weeze. Went into the pits, got a fresh set of tyres, came back out, and look at the gap. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't even understand how that happened. He came out of the pits. He had a 4.5 second lead to the man in P2. The man in P2 is still the man in P2, but that gap has now grown to 13.5 seconds in the space of, is it 2 laps? He's done 2 laps on those tyres in the space of 2 laps. Weeze on an absolute flyer. Andres, he's done a real solid job to hold on to P2, hasn't had the pace to get on the back of the Mercedes, cause any trouble for Weeze. Not tonight. He's had enough pace to be the best of the rest. Driver just behind him has the same penalty as he does, so he doesn't have to worry too much about that. Just doesn't want to collect another penalty late in the race. The 3 penalties you see on your screen are all just 3-second penalties, so nothing too serious. No one has been caught speeding in the pit lane, not tonight anyway. We've seen nights where those 10-second penalties rarely get handed out. Weeze has started the last lap, as has Andres, as has Virus. The top 3 have gone over the line for laps 35 of 35. This man here will finish night. He was quickest in qualifying, pulled off from pole, held on to the lead. Can't think of a moment in this race where he gave up the lead. In fact, he did give up the lead briefly to Spikes. Spikes picked it much later on. Ever since Spikes came into the pits, he's been leading this race yet again. Built a gap of almost 25 seconds, came into the pits. Lost a lot of time for that fastest lap. Had a gap of 5 seconds, and somehow he's been able to increase that gap by the end of the race back to the 20 seconds where it was not so long ago. So Weeze takes the victory. We go back to the drivers in P2 and 3 to see what positions they're going to finish in, because that battle's not yet over. Andres is going to go over the line in P2, is he? Yes, he is. Virus in P3. Those 2 penalties will cancel each other out. Spikes was close enough to jump them both. Spikes was close enough to jump them both. Somehow I missed that in the timesheets. Spikes was close enough to jump them both. So Spikes takes P2. Unexpected P2. Maybe he had timed it, maybe he knew it was coming, but from the commentator's perspective, I missed that completely. So a smaller field than we're used to, but still a fantastic race. And what a display of dominance at the front. We now just wait for those final results. Don't forget to mute the game. F1 are really greedy. There we go. There's your results. Wheeze takes the victory. Started from pole, finished the race in P1, and took the fastest lap. That's the perfect evening. 26 points. Then Spikes didn't look like he was going to get a podium. Landed up in P2. Fantastic job. And that's why you want to stay out of the penalties column for the entirety of the race. Andres P3 looked like he was going to hold on to P2, but that was not the case. Triple M in the second. Red Bull P4, both Red Bulls beat by their junior team. Spikes there in P2. Then Virus, the first of the two McLarens. Boinkies in P6, first of the two Ferraris. Then you got Skull in P7, who had to bring the car home with that broken wing. Mr. Rem in P8. The second McLaren of Andre, not the night he would have wanted, in P9, and the one DNF of Top Gun. Of course, now that was the end of the race. We're just going to allow a minute or two to see if anybody does want to join the cool down room. Of course, you can join the cool down room on the NFR Discord. You will then be brought into the comms box. You can't join the comms box. The comms box is locked in case anybody is really angry during the race and decides to jump in the comms box and have a rant. So comms box is locked. You can join the cool down room and I will bring you into the comms box from there. I'm just going to allow 2 or 3 minutes to see if anybody does come in. If not, I will be back to say goodbye to all of you. Of course, thank you all for watching. I hope you stick around. I'll be back in just a few minutes from now.
Checker flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You to NFR, feel the speed, the speed.
Lando in the cockpit, heartbeats loud, chasing dreams under pressure, lost in the crowd. Corner 2 shot, spun out wide and free. Championship slipped like sand into the sea. On the chicane, caught him slow. On the twist, a second's hesitation, victory missed. Green spot, he slid off the track. Fans gasping as the sky turned black. Pressure breakdown, Lando running wild. Back speeds by with the Pressure breakdown and a running wild. Max speed 5 with the champion smile. Mistakes piling up, dreams in the rear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pit stop chaos, tires not there. Mechanics fumbling in the pit lane's glare. Leaderboard slipping like oil on the floor. Lando's hopes falling, can't take anymore. Max takes the lead with a grin so bright. Lando's in shadows, can't find the light. Wheel to wheel, but he's losing grip. Champions rise as dreams start to slip. One last race, the engines scream, hoping for a miracle, grasping at the dream. Final lap and there's no more to give. Lessons in the losses, that's how we live. Pressure breakdown and a running wild. Max speed 5 with the champion smile. The stakes piling up, dreams in the rear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, Lando running wild. Max speed 5 with the champion smile. The stakes piling up, dreams in the rear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear.
To those of you who waited, thank you very much for waiting. Unfortunately, bad news, don't have anybody in the comms box. Everybody a little bit mic shy tonight. Of course, we're finishing a little bit later than usual. We had that 10-minute delay right at the beginning of things. But I want to thank everybody who did join us from beginning to end. Some of you were here for all of it, from the spin, even before the spin. Of course, we're going to be back tomorrow night. It's going to be another mystery circuit, so I can't tell you where we're racing. I don't know where we're racing. Of course, SAFRL or the admin at SAFRL, they're the only ones that know where we're going to be tomorrow night. So join us at 8 o'clock for the League v League Championship, wherever it is that we may be racing. And of course, I hope to see you all then. Just have a quick look at the Discord one more time. And that's that. I think we'll call it a night. So thank you to everybody who did tune in. I hope to see you back tomorrow night. And of course, like and subscribe. Help us get to that very difficult to reach 500 number. Everything else we got there pretty quickly, but 500's been pretty rough. So help us get there. Like and subscribe. And if you've done that already, join us tomorrow. Till then, cheers.
And if our only friend, deaf queen, the top supporter, see in the crowd where speed is keen. And if all the place to be, join the race, watch and see.
Mount your engines, feel the heat.